Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's start. Shahao soared into the air, and Yu-chan followed behind him, her clothes fluttering about. The two were like divine companions as they disappeared into the limits of the horizon. Peach Blossom Forest, everyone here became stupefied. Only after a long time had passed did they erupt with commotion. Heavens! He is going to kill Immortal Palace's inheritor. This is a major event that will shock all of Immortal Ancient, the effects great and long-lasting. Huang is taking action himself, taking the initiative to attack. This is definitely going to be an earth-shattering event. Fallen flowers were scattering and flying about like snowflakes within the peach tree forest, the pink flower petals filling the skies, sparkling and resplendent, sweet fragrance wafting into the distance. However, it wasn't enough to conceal the commotion here. Huang was going to do something big, about to create a great disturbance. After a long time had passed, this place couldn't remain peaceful any longer. The creatures here spread the news, everyone wanting to witness this battle. Unfortunately, they didn't know where Immortal Palace's inheritor was, selling information about himself, acquiring holy medicines. Huang truly is, everyone didn't know how to describe him. When they thought back to what had just happened, all of them laughed. Immortal Palace is definitely going to vomit blood. To use this kind of capital on an enemy, I truly wonder how they will feel after finding out. All of Immortal Palace's experts in Peach Blossom Forest were killed, but there were still a few small figures Shahao didn't pay attention to. These people's faces were green and pale, truly feeling sullen. Similarly, those from Underworld clan who survived felt incredibly sullen as well, truly wishing to roar into the sky. This Devil King was too lowly. He had such great divine abilities, yet he was still swindling others, extorting a pile of holy medicines. It truly angered one to death. These individuals without too much strength were one thing, but if news got out, how would those exceptional talents in those strongholds feel? Their lungs would definitely explode from anger. Within a swamp in Green Spirit Realm, there was a strong rotting aura. Not many creatures were willing to reside here. The yin energy was extremely strong, surrounding this place. No sunlight reached this area all year round. The divine striking stone led the way, bringing Shahao and Qing Yi here. It indicated for them to keep silent, because they were already close to the destination. A strong fluctuation of life wafted out from within the depths of the swamp, protecting this place, a formation disk. There was a small altar in the swamp formed from dark red-colored divine materials. An expert sat there, protecting it, eyes closed while absorbing and releasing energy. At the same time, he supported his only heavenly passage, quickly arriving and surrounding that person. This person opened his eyes. He struggled intensely, wishing to send a message through the altar, but it was already too late. This single heavenly passage restricted everything. No matter how he used precious techniques, summoned weapons, it was all useless. He became weaker and weaker, and then in the end, he couldn't move any longer. Who are you? He opened his mouth with difficulty, finding this hard to believe. As the most powerful young expert of a province, Immortal Palace Inheritors No. 3 General, he was actually captured like this. This type of result, this type of utter defeat, was hard for him to accept. Even if an ancient freak arrived, it still shouldn't be like this, right? He. Shahao laughed. Huang, you came. This person's expression changed, feeling shock, anger, and fear. There was nothing worse than this. Huang came knocking on their doors. One has to understand that Immortal Palace's inheritor was in closed-door training. Now that someone came like this, the results were unimaginable. It immediately made his face incredibly pale. You aren't even someone from Immortal Palace. There's no need for you to be worried for his sake. Shahao said indifferently. Qing Yi walked over, as graceful as an immortal. The hazy radiance surrounded her slender body, making this swamp look more and more pure and holy. The divine striking stone flew forward and said, ask him for the coordinates. If I have to deduce it, then it'll take quite a bit of work. Did you hear? Where does this altar lead to? Please speak about the void coordinates. Shahao said, I do not know, this is a mysterious formation. I am only in charge of protecting this place. Each time there is something, I only need to place a bone book here and it will be transmitted through. The third general said. The divine striking stone felt a headache. This is most likely some type of wondrous formation. It is a bit troublesome, only able to send special objects, for example, bone books and other things. Creatures most likely can't step on it. Shahao questioned this individual, but the third general didn't know much, his knowledge limited. You dare. When Shahao slightly restrained the heavenly passage, this person quickly counterattacked to destroy the altar. Lightning Emperor's technique. Shahao took action, lightning pouring into his body, blasting him until he was charred black. It was because the two were just too close, so this person couldn't avoid it at all. He flew outwards, landing in the swamp. The silver passageway was blurry, continuously flickering about with radiance. Soon after, they reached its end. Shahao held a great halberd in hand, his entire body covered densely by symbols, preparing to release the most powerful attack. He was going to rush out and immediately hack down. However, soon after, he was left stunned. This was a great yellow desert. There wasn't anyone here, with not a single blade of grass growing here. Where did you end up sending us? It was clear that this wasn't Green Spirit Realm, lacking vitality, nor was there any Immortal Palace inheritor. How could this type of environment be suited to isolation cultivation? They arrived in a brand new world, unknown which small world they ended up in. Strange, the divine striking stone thought to itself. After carefully analyzing the process, he said, we might have deviated from our target a bit, but it shouldn't be that much. His place of isolation should be within 100 li. 100 li isn't too bad, not several hundreds of thousands of li. Qing Yi teased. For them, 100 li was extremely short, not far at all. Shahao rose up, sweeping the surroundings with his divine senses. Soon after, he sensed something in that direction. There was a sphere of green light in the desert. When they drew near, they discovered an island situated in the desert. It wasn't large, but the plant life here was lush and full of life, everything here shining. This was a strange scenery. The plants were sparkling like jade, and there were waves of white mists pervading the air like immortal energy. There were wisps of chaotic mist as well. This place is just too extraordinary, the divine striking stone said. I'm preparing to take action. All of you, be careful. Shahao's expression became grave, retracting his aura. He walked over step by step. There wasn't much to be said about this enemy. He was going to directly cut him down. The island was small, less than 1,000 zhong in size. There was a mountain at the center, and inside the mountain was an ancient cave that surged with auspicious multicolored radiance. Chaotic energy pervaded the air. There was a single person seated there, drowned under hazy mists that unexpectedly couldn't be seen through. This was an ancient divine cave. Who are you, actually knowing the human immortal imprint? Shahao was shocked. This wasn't Immortal Palace's inheritor, yet it knew the sex-restricted divine ability. What is this thing? It's so large. The divine striking stone was shocked. Inside that ancient cave, chaotic energy curled around an enormous beast. It was incomparably terrifying, magical force overflowing into the heavens. This creature exchanged several dozen blows with Shahao head-on, yet it unexpectedly didn't explode and die. Soon after, the two slaughtered their way out. Qing Yi saw this creature's true appearance. It had a dragon head and a crocodile body, its entire body a dark red color. Gold scales shone about it. It stood on 2 legs, its height more than 10 zhong tall. Its eyes were like blood-colored lamps, enormous and scarlet, dragon-blooded ancestral crocodile. Qing Yi cried out with alarm, reminding Shahao that this was a rare species that was incomparably powerful. From what she knew, only Immortal Palace had 2 of them. They protected the mountain gate, living from the archaic era to the present age. This was clearly not one of those 2, not that powerful. It was quite likely that this was their child. Dragon-blooded ancestral crocodiles had dragon blood, and had the vicious crocodile as its ancestor. When cultivated to its ultimate realm, it could turn into a true dragon and shatter the 9 heavens, its divine power unmatched. This one was more powerful than many exceptional talents Shahao had encountered, able to fight him head-on. Its enormous claws casual attack could destroy a mountain and make the void cave in. In addition, it even understood Immortal Palace's secret methods, and its blood essence was overflowing into the heavens. It was terrifying beyond compare. If a normal true deity came, they wouldn't even be its opponent. They would be crushed into meat paste by a single claw. This creature was just too powerful. You are just a slave of Immortal Palace inheritor. Where is he? I am the first battle general. I have never been a servant. The dragon-blooded ancestral crocodile roared, its red eyes releasing killing radiance, shooting out like 2 beams of blood-colored lightning. It loathed being called Immortal Palace's servant. Killing intent surged, incomparably berserk. It was simply about to destroy this desert. In the end, it still wasn't Shahao's match. This dragon-blooded ancestral crocodile was extremely strong, far more powerful than that golden winged peng, one of the most powerful experts Shahao had killed in Immortal Ancient. Shahao believed that he already found the important place. This child of the vicious crocodiles protecting Immortal Palace was naturally loyal and devoted to Immortal Palace's inheritor. There was definitely a reason for him standing guard here. The isolated island was split apart, the plant life half destroyed. Only the mountain was undamaged. Multicolored light emerged from the ancient cave, accompanied by wisps of primal chaos. This was a divine cave with formations protecting this place, and that was why this place was still intact after the battle. Shahao carefully sensed his surroundings, but in the end, he couldn't help but sigh. He was left disappointed, because his enemy wasn't here, an altar. Qing Yi said. She found a faint golden altar in the ancient cave that was simple and ancient. It led to an unknown place. His natural disposition is to be suspicious, not even trusting the ancestral crocodile and heading for another place himself. All types of information are reported through the dragon-blooded ancestral crocodile. Shahao said. The golden altar was just like the one in the swamp, still a part of a network, not leading to Immortal Palace Inheritor's place of isolation. However, it was a bit closer. If nothing unexpected happened, they would find him in the next secret realm. We're rich, great natural luck. The divine striking stone cried out strangely. It deciphered the formation, and then it opened a treasury. All types of radiance immediately rushed out like a tide. In that place, the divine materials were piled up like a small mountain, all of them shining. These were all heavenly treasures. The ancestral crocodile helped him collect all types of treasures, and they are all piled up here. It truly is a place of natural luck. Even Qing Yi's beautiful eyes were blinking, releasing extraordinary splendor. The treasures here were extremely shocking, all of them rare divine materials of different types. They could be used to lay formations, create weapons, and other things. Everything that should be here was here. Apart from this, there was a pile of holy medicine sealed within jade containers, the amount shockingly great. Apart from this, there were more than 10 stalks of half-divine medicines, resplendent and rich with fragrance. Shahao laughed loudly. They received a great harvest this time after raiding Immortal Palace Inheritor's secret nest. All of the treasures accumulated from various inhabited areas were here. He didn't have time to bring them away. Qing Yi said. Mine, mine. The divine striking stone immediately rushed over, chewing on a piece with kenchi sounds. In the end, as soon as it swallowed it, it spat it out, cursing continuously. What kind of damn stone is this? Its taste is terrible. It complained. It couldn't sense anything special about it. It didn't contain any divine characteristics. This stone has a marking, called stone core material. Qing Yi cried out in surprise. She seemed to have thought of something, and then her mind trembled greatly. She then became incomparably excited. Stone core material, never heard of it before. Shahao didn't recall any divine materials with this name. It is a divine ancient material. Qing Yi was stirred up, emotions welling up on her pure and holy face, unable to remain calm. What is so special about it? Shahao didn't understand. This stone might contain a stone core, which is also known as an immortal core. It can cleanse the eyes and open up a heavenly eye. Qing Yi said, her voice trembling. What? Shahao was greatly shocked. There was this type of wondrous stone? It was definitely a heaven-defying item. Rumors had it that this was a wondrous stone that came from the immortal ancient great era. There were some who said that the so-called stone core came from the gallbladders of immortals. The essence from those immortals' gallbladders were sealed in earth, accumulated within. There were others who said that this was a rare treasure of heaven and earth produced by mountains and rivers, a natural product of the world. Good stuff. If there is an immortal core inside, why can't I see it? Shahao found some in the stone materials, yet he couldn't tell which piece of stone had stone cores. This type of stone materials cannot be seen through by normal divine eyes. Qing Yi said. Shahao produced the dual pupil, reflecting the pile of materials. Qing Yi also moved over, a wonderful body like a refined and straight divine lotus that bloomed, releasing a fragrance that was incomparably gentle and beautiful. There really is a stone core inside. Shahao was extremely happy. Inside this large pile of stone materials, there was one piece that released golden light. The dual pupil could see that there was a golden core inside. This is too great. Qing Yi was so happy she almost cried out, appearing quite different from her ordinarily pure and holy temperament. The two of them moved, carefully cutting apart this stone material, producing a golden-colored, immortal core from within. How do you use it? Shahao frowned. Qing Yi said. Directly drop it into the eye and it would suffice. This is a divine object that can make the blind's eyes become like lightning, recovering its vitality, able to speed up the formation of the heavenly eye. The divine striking stone was eager to give it a try. It claimed that even though it was a stone, it could also use it as a baptism. In the end, it was slapped to the side by the two of them, telling it to stop causing trouble. Let's all give it a try. Shahao said. His heavenly eye had long begun taking form, forming mysterious symbols within the depths of his pupils, on the verge of being produced. Now that there was this stone core, it should be able to open without a doubt. An hour later, the stone core was no longer effective for him, his eyes no longer showing any changes. He thus stopped. Shahao closed his eyes and silently comprehended for a long time. He then suddenly opened his eyes. In that instant, two streaks of symbol-formed beams of light shot out, rushing out from the cave with incomparable brilliance. In that instant, Shahao felt that the world before his eyes seemed to have come alive. The entire world seemed to have brightened by many times, becoming incomparably clear. In addition, he could see through stone walls, able to see past them. Every single blade of grass, every tree, all living things in the mountains and rivers seemed different. They were lively and full of spirituality, as if he could see their souls. His eyes gazed into the distance, able to see extremely far, able to see through the source, past the fabricated, his heavenly eye able to see all creatures. Their movement seemed to have become slower as well. This was the heavenly eye, this was just the start, yet there were already such wonderful effects. The speed of others slowing before his eyes, this type of ability would display unimaginable use in battle. It would be difficult for all types of profound and secret changes the opponent made to escape the heavenly eye. In reality, this was still the start of its opening. The true martial Dao heavenly eye had many other shocking areas that would be revealed as his cultivation increased. All types of divine abilities would manifest themselves one after another. How are the effects? Qingyi asked. Excellent. Shahao nodded, handing the stone core to her. He only used a small half, because he already developed the initial form, able to produce the heavenly eye symbols at any time. Qingyi accepted it, but didn't use it immediately. She felt that she had to wait until her mind and body were clear, or when she cultivated a few eye techniques before using it, as the effects would be more prominent then. She sealed it inside of a jade bottle. What is happening to you? Qingyi looked towards Shahao, noticing that his eyes became symbols, a faint golden light scattering on her body without dissipating, nothing, just seeing how your charm is heaven-made, feeling that your future accomplishments are great. Shahao said half-heartedly to get by, his eyes flickering with light. Qingyi immediately became furious, reacting quickly. This fella's heavenly eye had now initially formed, able to see through things. He was looking at her body. She immediately displayed great techniques to protect her body, blocking out the heavenly eye symbols. Shahao could see a pure white, wonderful body that sparkled with snow-white radiance. Curves rose and fell, elegant and exquisite, perfect without any flaws. You better close your eyes and stop using the heavenly eye. Qingyi berated and began to hit him. Nothing. Shahao turned around and began to check the other rare materials. Then, the two of them moved, collecting everything in the ancient cave, not leaving a single item behind. One could imagine how angry Immortal Palace's inheritor would be once he found out. These were all his, yet now, everything was looted in such an unbridled manner, already changing owners, using his stone core to cleanse our eyes, increasing the opening of our heavenly eyes. If he found out, I wonder what kind of expression he would have. Maybe he'll go mad? Shahao said, he is cultivating in isolation, so if we go over and tell him what happened, he won't go crazy, right? The divine striking stone said with clearly unkind intentions. It began to research the golden altar, wishing to reach that place through here. Shahao sat down to silently adjust his breath, raising his body's condition to the peak. The martial Dao heavenly eye was now in its initial stages of forming, and his divine senses became even sharper. This altar is quite unordinary. It is hard for me to figure it out even after studying all types of bone books. The divine striking stone felt a headache, unable to see through the mysteries even after an extremely long time. Should be a formation brought out from Immortal Palace. Qingyi came to this conclusion, speaking about a few formations she knew about. She didn't research altars intensively, but she knew a few wondrous formations' effectiveness and powers. This gave the divine striking stone some inspiration, giving him a bit of insight, made a bit of progress. The divine striking stone said to itself. It then looked at Shahao and said, what kind of divine abilities does Immortal Palace have? Explain them to me a bit. The formation is wide-ranging and profound. No matter which inheritance it is, their scripture meanings are unchanged, their precious techniques and formations having similarities. The divine striking stone revealed a rare bit of seriousness. Even though this wasn't enough for it to directly see through the formation, it would allow it to understand a bit more about this ancient sect style, thus helping its analysis of the golden altar's various symbols. This sect is formidable after all. The divine striking stone was greatly shaken. When it deciphered a corner of the golden symbols and undid the ancient altar's mysterious veil, it was left horrified. In the golden altar, it saw a few familiar traces. It had seen that type of thing before in Stone Village. The Willow deity had previously laid a similar type of formation patterns. It is rumored that Immortal Palace's origins are mysterious, coexisting with the world. No one knows how many years they had existed for. They might be an inheritance left behind by human immortals. Qing Yi said. Heaven-mending sect and Immortal Palace moved quite closely together, so she knew a few secrets related to human immortals. The Willow deity's origins are terrifying. The divine striking stone shivered. Stone Village had a great formation protecting it, something the Willow deity personally laid in the lower realm before it left. The divine striking stone had witnessed it, something that it had thought about for quite some time. And now, in the golden altar, it saw something similar, complex and profound, leaving it shocked. This also made Shahao shiver inwardly. The things that came from Immortal Palace were terrifying after all. This made him become even more cautious, not daring to carry any contempt inside. The divine striking stone no longer said anything. After seeing through the outer golden symbols, undoing the outer fog, it inspected the core formation again and again, confirming the similarities between this one and the one the Willow deity established. This thing is quite ancient. It is difficult for those of the present world to lay it. It came to this conclusion. When we have time, I'll research it completely. Who knows, it might be the same as obtaining a great killing method, immortal escape method, or a secret technique. It said smugly. The altar's construction was finished. It pierced through the void, opening up a hazy passage. They walked inside. Inside the passageway, brilliant lights flowed about, everything being indistinct up to the other end. Arrived. Be careful. Qing Yi warned, fearing that Shahao at the front might suffer from something unexpected. She already supported the green lunar flame, ready to provide assistance at any moment. The one that should be careful is him. Shahao said. His body was tall and strong, his black hair hanging down to his waist. With the great halberd in hand, he directly rushed forward. Sure enough, it was as they expected. There was some deviation, not entering a divine ancient land. This was a wild forest where apes and tigers roared. There wasn't any spiritual elegance to be seen, there shouldn't be any mistake. It is definitely within a range of 1,000 li. The divine striking stone said. This wasn't too far, but it wasn't a short amount of distance either. They restrained their auras and started to search through the mountain forest for Immortal Palace Inheritor's place of isolation, a dangerous place. When they arrived in this mountain range, they were immediately given a fright. There were too many bugs around them, all of different species. Many of them already developed intelligence, devouring the sun and moon's essence. They hid within rocks and plants, poisonous mist coiling around them. The closer they went, the darker the skies became. That was a gathering of poisonous bugs, a fog produced by the poison they took in and sent out. Shahao gave it a try. The mists unexpectedly corroded divine force. There were many scorpions, as well as other unknown bugs, so strange. Don't tell me there are some bug emperors here, right? It's too vicious. Even deities would suffer a disaster after entering. The divine striking stone said. Even someone as powerful as him feared the corrosive poison of these bugs. Shahao used the void halberd to cut apart the void, moving through the air to avoid these vicious bugs. There were some places that were truly dangerous with scorpions and poisonous creatures covering entire mountains and valleys. It was terrifying to the extreme. There were also ravines with centipedes wriggling about everywhere, some half-meter in length, others several jong in length. It made one's scalp feel numb from looking at them. There were even a few mountain peaks where enormous and sparkling spiderwebs hung between them. Those poisonous spiders varied from the size of a fist to the size of a person's calf. They were brightly colored, and there were even some that were pure golden. They were clearly terrifying creatures. Shahao turned around and looked to the east. Under the thick layer of poisonous mist, a sphere of light was flickering like a moon trying to break out from dark clouds. It descended. He opened his heavenly eye, immediately looking through everything in his way, seeing the true scenery. He was immediately shocked, sucking in a cold breath of air. There was a mountain there that wasn't extremely tall, but was wide and spacious, imposing, and majestic. It was as if a Tao platform was towering there. There was a boundless energy blowing over. At the summit was an ancient tree that released tens of thousands of streaks of multicolored light and thousands of streaks of divine rainbows. Every leaf flickered like stars, coiling with divine splendor. This was without a doubt a divine tree that was incomparably ancient. That tree trunk was enormous and cracked, the pieces of bark like dragon scales. Its trunk was entirely red in color, winding into the skies like a scarlet dragon. As for its leaves and branches, they were like pieces of jade, replete and sparkling, but their colors were all different, some spotlessly white like jade, some flickering with golden light, some black like underworld steel, some with deep purple multicolored light. When one looked at it as a whole, it was flowing with brilliant colors and tens of thousands of streaks of multicolored lights. It was exceptionally divine, an ancient divine tree. Shahao was startled awake. His heart was greatly shaken. He never expected to see a sacred divine medicine here. It was extremely large, several tens of jong tall. If the tree was eaten like an ancient medicine, it would be simply unimaginable. Shahao cut open the void with the void halberd, bringing Qing Yi and the divine striking stone over, arriving at an optimal location that avoided the various poisonous bugs. He carefully looked at it. Qing Yi could see it, and she was similarly shocked. The feeling this ancient tree gave off was too powerful. From a certain perspective, the divine tree was even more precious than flower and plant-shaped divine medicines. After all, a tree was much larger, and the medicinal effects it carried would be much greater. Even though it was still the concentration of essence that was important, once it reached a certain degree, it would still be extremely shocking. Yi, something's not right. The aura of experts here is too great. Qing Yi was startled, feeling many true deity auras pervading the air, completely undisguised. Shahao had long discovered this. He was also carefully observing, immortal ancients natives generally wouldn't leave their respective tribal areas, or else unexpected things would happen. Could it be that these dead heavenly deities are related to this? Also, it is easier for descendants from outside immortal ancients to display problems, going mad once they reach heavenly deity level or directly die. Qing Yi said. Shahao noted. The heavenly deities under the ancient tree likely belong to those types of situations. Suddenly, Qing Yi vaguely recalled something that had been recorded down. She cried out with shock, I think I know what it is, it's the 10,000 poison tree. Even though it was a divine tree, it contained all types of poisons, giving it the title 10,000 poisons. For normal deities, this was fatal, but for the poisonous bugs, it was the most precious tree. It had 10,000 poison divine fruits which, upon being ingested, if one could hold on and not die, one could immediately become a heavenly deity. It was just like the fruit of a heavenly deity tree. For normal cultivators, eating a single fruit would allow them to become a heavenly deity, the divine effects terrifying. How unfortunate, we can't eat it. Shahao felt regretful. In the past, it wasn't that no one ate it before. In the end, they made it through and became a poisonous heavenly deity, all creatures in their way dying, none able to withstand their poison power. Qing Yi said. Shahao's mind was moved. He looked at the ancient tree. Under the branches, between the leaves, there were indeed a few fruits. However, they weren't mature yet, still underripe. Wu, let's remember this place. In the future, we might truly need to come here to pick them. Shahao said, turns out that Immortal Palace Inheritor was hiding here, indeed a place not easy to find. Who would want to come to this type of dangerous place normally? The divine striking stone said, discovering a few clues. Under that 10,000 poison tree, there was a formation protecting that area. Next to its roots was a hazy gate that led to an ancient land. It was surrounded by formation patterns, isolated from the outside world. Something strange. The formation Immortal Palace laid really is too similar to the one Willow deity set up in Stone Village, likely formations that came from the same era. The divine striking stone was shocked. I had previously heard that Immortal Palace's inheritance is related to immortals, inseparably linked to the last great era. Qing Yi said. Shahao was speechless. He thought back to the battlefield he saw the first time he opened the three-world coffin. There was a willow tree there that looked exactly the same as the willow deity, powerful and matchless, surrounded by immortal light as it unleashed a slaughter. If it is this type of formation, then it is much easier. I can bring us in. The divine striking stone said, if we enter like this, do you think he'll be scared out of his mind? The divine striking stone laughed strangely. Let's go. He offered a bounty to kill me, so I have to treat him like this. Let's first scare him until half his body is paralyzed. Shahao said, his eyes forceful. That 10,000 poison tree was displaying its power, releasing tens of thousands of streaks of auspicious light. For the poisonous bugs, it was a holy substance that could nourish the body, but for others, it was a disastrous thing. This type of poison turned into light, able to corrode divine force and weaken one's cultivation. Even though the divine striking stone was tough and nearly unbreakable, it was still worried about its own cultivation being corroded by the poisonous light. Recently, it was close to breaking through, so it didn't want to take the risk. Shahao gave it a try, discovering that his only heavenly passage was able to hold on until the other side. However, the corrosion wasn't light either. Qingyi was opposed to him doing this, because he still had to fight afterwards. He had to maintain the most optimal state, with even the slightest corrosion of divine force or the slight exhaustion of cultivation not good. She supported her green lunar flame, and as a result, the 10,000 poison tree began to sway and rumble, as if it provoked a great disaster. Many of the poisonous bugs were alarmed, about to rush over. As expected, this ancient divine tree, formation, and poisonous bugs are all important elements to his own protection. No wonder he chose this place. Shahao said softly to himself. He tried to hide himself in the divine cauldron and rush over while hiding inside of it, but in the end, the precious cauldron was corroded terribly. It seems like I can only use this. It's a good time to test how powerful it is exactly. Shahao used the earth to Inch's great divine ability to avoid the hordes of true deity-level poisonous bugs, producing the pill furnace. The pill furnace had lightning inside, as well as curse power. However, now that he cultivated the lightning emperor technique, it was already difficult for it to injure him. Shahao placed Qingyi and the divine striking stone into the heaven and earth pouch, and then he himself hid in the pill furnace. Then, with extreme speed, he moved over, shooting into the formation like a falling star. When he emerged, they were shocked at the pill furnace's rigidity. It was because the 10,000 poison tree was extremely terrifying. It released streak after streak of ripples that were unexpectedly close to heavenly deity-level fluctuations. The surroundings were covered densely with symbols, terrifying to the extreme. This thing has magical force. The divine striking stone's mouth widened, feeling incomparable shock. Shahao was shaken up. This was a divine tree and could be used as a medicine. For certain creatures, it was priceless. It actually had powerful fighting strength as well. This was extremely shocking. Normally speaking, even if an ancient divine medicine developed intelligence, it wouldn't possess great divine abilities or other methods like it. This thing is formidable. No wonder all of those true deity-level bugs are worshipping it here, treating it like their lord. It can order all poisonous-type experts. Qingyi said. Normally, no one could break inside, killing along the way. Who would have expected to see this immortal realm-like scene within a world of poison and bugs? Shahao said with a sigh. They entered this small world and walked on the tangled and complicated road, moving past the murderous formations, directly heading into the interior. All types of multicolored light flew past, white mists coiling about. It was just like an immortal's home. Shahao could clearly remember that when he had just entered Immortal Palace's inheritor went looking for a place to cultivate, but as a result provoked a heavenly deity-level flood dragon, and it chased him all the way out. This place clearly didn't have the aura of a flood dragon, a pure land. He couldn't help but sigh. Immortal Palace's backing truly was deep and profound, their understanding of Immortal Ancient deep, knowing about many of its precious lands. Just up ahead, a divine spring roiled, surging with auspicious energy. White-colored spiritual essence pervaded the air, making this place seem like a place detached from the mortal world. On the side, purple-colored spiritual bamboo were everywhere and coiling with white mists. There were streaks of divine rainbows as well that connected into the sky, interweaving together, the aura exceptional, as if an immortal was overseeing this place. Within the purple bamboo forest was a strange stone that curled with wisps of immortal mist. Tens of thousands of streaks of multicolored light swirled around its surroundings, producing an astonishing sight. One could vaguely sense waves of Tao sounds. On the strange stone sat an unmoving figure, his body releasing waves of Tao sounds. He was cultivating in isolation, comprehending the great Tao, unaware of the outside world. Don't act rashly. This purple bamboo forest contains tremendous killing intent with Immortal Palace's ancient formation here. If one hastily rushes in, their body and Tao might be erased. Qingyi said. Shahao nodded. He naturally saw some clues. That stone was half a zhong in size, entirely grayish-brown, looking rather simple and unadorned, but over 10,000 streaks of light swirled around it, none of these lights making contact with the stone itself. There were strands of immortal energy outside as well that looked incomparably exotic. Qingyi said softly, "This stone looks a lot like Immortal Palace's Tao Comprehension Stone. It is rumored that there are 3 of them. I never expected that one of their legendary holy objects would be brought into Immortal Ancient." They were secretly conversing. They were still quite far, so they weren't scared of alerting Immortal Palace's inheritor. "This thing. I think I want it." The divine striking stone began to drool. In this great era, ever since the first immortal Tao flower petal blossomed, all the way until the 3000 Tao were completely used up, the so-called ultimate, natural luck had never been seen yet. Everyone suspected that it would definitely appear in this world. Immortal Palace naturally wished to obtain it, and that was why they invested so much into their inheritor. There were still many bone books inside of the nearby purple bamboo forest piled up into a heap and flowing with holy light. They were all records of predecessors' insights that provided Immortal Palace's inheritor with great help. Apart from this, there was a crystal piece as well inside which were wisps of bright red blood that had divine luster. This greatly moved both Shahao and Qingyi. It was absorbed by him already, and this was only the remains. On the strange stone, Immortal Palace's inheritor's eyes were closed, as if he was sleeping, not moving a single inch. However, Tao sounds continuously sounded, and within his body, a wave of scarlet-red immortal light swirled about, continuously rushing at his arms and inner organs, cleansing his body. One could sense the immortal Tao aura from quite far away, using immortal blood to cleanse the body. It truly is extravagant. How could ordinary people see immortal blood? A single drop was enough to make sects go crazy, yet he used an entire sphere of it. If those of the outside world found out, it would definitely lead to a great battle between inheritances, all of them fighting over it. It was because this was a legendary item, difficult to find a single drop throughout the entire world. Immediately afterward, Shahao and Qingyi rushed forward, immediately erupting with divine sounds. Dragon and phoenix cries shook the world, hundreds of times greater than thunder, as they erupted here. Apart from this, the purple bamboo forest's great formation was attacked as well, erupting with demonic sound that was extremely terrifying, immediately making this place chaotic. Immortal Palace's inheritor, who was currently at the critical point of comprehension, his body and mind clear, forgetting his material self, felt as if he was struck by lightning, as if he was cursed. His body trembled violently, and with a pu sound, he spat out a large mouthful of blood-carrying silver radiance. Apart from this, in his body, the immortal blood scattered in disarray, releasing blinding scarlet multicolored light, about to shoot out through his body, causing some of his flesh to split apart. His entire body became covered in blood. Immortal Palace's inheritor was disturbed by external demons, immediately suffering serious injuries, his body almost dying and his Tao erased. Immortal blood wasn't something that easy to merge with. Fortunately, Immortal Palace's ancient ancestor neutralized the killing energy and other things. However, despite this being the case, before the symbols within were completely comprehended, they were still not something a deity could completely control. Half of Immortal Palace inheritor's body became rotten, his hair disheveled, looking like a malicious spirit. It was a tragic sight. He fell on his back on top of the strange stone. Shahao didn't feel the slightest bit of sympathy towards this, because this person had tried to kill him several times, even offering a bounty to claim him as a battle servant, even cruelly instilling curses on his divine generals, treating them like criminals. Half of Immortal Palace inheritor's body suffered from the corrosion of immortal blood, making him lose perception. His eye sockets felt like they were going to split apart. He stared at those 2 people with absolute fury. "Kill!" Shahao shouted loudly. He indicated towards the divine striking stone, having it break through the formation, pretending that it was quite easy, as if they could quickly break through it. Sure enough, the first half was broken through easily, pulling it apart like rotten weeds and directly slaughtering into the purple bamboo forest's depths, fast to the point of leaving others stupefied. Immortal Palace's inheritor was shocked, a wave of fear welling up within him. Right now, half his body was in tatters, receiving serious injuries while comprehending the Tao. If these 2 closed in on him, he would undoubtedly die. Without any hesitation, he endured the pain, and with a huala sound, collected a pile of divine objects, as well as tried to bring away the comprehending wondrous stone, but ultimately failing to do so. Rumor has it that this strange stone is heavier than a star, difficult to store within precious artifacts. Qingyi said, her eyes revealing brilliance. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.